Okay, so we are getting breaking news on TD. Two TD bank units are going to plead guilty. Persistent prioritization of growth over controls, and that allowed its employees, quote, to break the law and facilitate the laundering of hundreds of millions of dollars. And oh my goodness, this is harsh stuff. And Grant, I know you've had no time whatsoever to assess this.
I mean, the fine is the fine, and we expected as much as $3 billion. But the asset cap was what we were ultimately feared for around this company, and it seems that is exactly what's come to play here, which has made it very difficult for us to consider TD as an option.
Case in point of how seriously the regulators, especially in the United States, take these types of issues, and the fact that they are using such strong language implies to me early on, without seeing the details, that they're prepared to throw the book at these types of things. And so I have concerns over TD's ability to grow.
We'll get the details shortly, I'm sure, but I have concerns about their abilities to grow going forward, at least for the perceived future.
The Federal Reserve Board is also taking a run at TD. So I wonder, will that stick in the craw of US regulators?
Well, I mean, certainly there's going to be a lot more red tape, and the fact that they're going to have to jump through all these hoops is probably warranted. I mean, in all respects, because of what's transpired. But it certainly puts a lot of red tape around growth. Never mind the asset cap, but the fact that they're going to have to deal with so much more compliance and regulatory oversight. A lot of investors have been waiting. They've been calling us and talking about when's a good time to buy into this company. Thankfully, we held off, and I don't see that there's an opportunity just yet either. I don't know when that's going to come just yet.
We're getting a bit more clarity on the monetary penalties here, courtesy of this news release from the Federal Reserve Board. Apparently, TD is facing about $3 billion in total penalties from all these agencies. It's interesting that the comptroller accusing TD Bank of prioritizing growth over implementing adequate controls.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's got to be one of the most concerning things for them, is that there was some egregious actions that they've determined that have been taken there, and the fact that you were all out. I mean, this harkens back to Wells Fargo to me, in terms of recent history. It reminds me a lot of that same story where the push was for growth at all out costs, basically, and it seems that TD has acted very similarly, or at least that's what the findings are. It said this has been growth at all costs. I mean, there has to be something that they do here. I mean, the CEO change, as you pointed out, that's a start. But given what the ramifications are here, I think you can make the case that there is more changes yet to be made and should be made in order to earn back shareholders' trust.
Bharat Masrani presumably the outgoing CEO will presumably leave with millions of dollars, as is the want with bank CEOs.
I think it's something that every investor needs to be looking at, especially when you're looking at, well, any publicly traded company. I mean, we're still in the overhang of the Jack Welch era from GE, and I think that you have to be mindful of the fact that how much skin does a CEO or any executive have in the game here, and so it is something that we look for in our companies. We love founder-led companies, and you don't really get that obviously when you're dealing with banks. But you do want to have a company that they don't make more money by getting locked out the door from a CEO perspective.